confusion. God didn't create the spirit of fear, and he is not the author of confusion, but he is the antidote for fear. Christ is the kryptonite to fear, because when Christ is around, there is no fear. And if you feel something in your stomach and you say it's bubble guts, no. That's adrenaline getting you ready for the fight. That's all that is. Adrenaline getting you ready for the fight. Now, let's athletes believe that. Because before every football game or every type of situation, that feeling is what turns you on. It's like, okay, we ready to roll. Because if the feeling don't show up, you ain't ready to roll. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then, what's not in you can't come out of you. But my point is, we're spending all this money. We're moving so far in technology so fast that it requires us to go ahead and purchase land and go to war so we can have reserves, so we can have a semiconductor supply chain. I saw that bill with my own eyes, and it's been introduced. It's not a law, but someone is introduced. I'm not going to throw them under the bus because I know they're doing what they're told to construct a semiconductor supply chain coming out of Ukraine. So clearly Russia this was my home before. I want these materials because if he can control Ukraine and the semiconductor supply chain that was just introduced as a bill, when you're talking about green and electric cars, he holds the power. So these billions and billions of dollars that's being thrown in the form of aid to Ukraine has a whole lot to do with a whole lot. And I understand how they like to keep us, misinformed. And it basically takes me back to the Emmett Till anti-lynching concept. Keep them dumb. Don't let them read. Don't let them understand anything that you're talking about, because you're going to mess up your good economic. If you teach your slaves how to read and they tell you, boy, I want you to plow this field until sundown, and your slave turn around and say to you, sir, it's about 4:30 right now. We got about an hour and a half of sunlight due to daylight savings time. So I'm going to go ahead and hurry up a little bit and then I'll close out. You lost your good economic. The control that they had, they have to do it differently. This is why they say that it's going to be a war of images. And when they say a war of images, to me, it's a world of images, because the propaganda is what conditions the mind to accept anything. This is why there's a level of consciousness that have to be risen in all of us to surpass the BS. Because we know about that ignorant, stupid stuff. We got that. But then there has to be a higher standard. We can no longer be tarred and feathered in between the two rivaling tribes. No pun intended, because if you're torn between the two, then that means they both want you. So why not just hold our vote ransom until we basically have an agenda? And we do have an agenda coming up fast, but we're going to have to hold out and presenting these things, because we know without a shadow of a doubt, their mission is to steal, kill, and destroy. They'll take things and, put their names on it and try to champion things. But I'm just going to tell you this. H.R. 55, Emmett Till Antilynching Act. Willie Lynch championed slavery. So now we have a living document that says that, number one, Emmett Till, that was a real situation in the archives. So that was racism. They killed him because he was black. Number two, anti-lynching. Anti, stop, don't do no more. Against, lynching. So 1,200 years later, we're anti-lynching now. So up until now, lynching was legal. And that's the sad thing about it, on the books. Because if it was illegal, why do you have to put a bill, H.R. 55, Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act? Why you have to add that wording? Because it was legal. So here's our historical artifact. In 2022, the living document that will change this nation. Until next time, A Better Black America podcast. #1 urban podcast, stateside and worldwide. Peace out.